Hello and good morning. Hopefully, you guys can hear me out there. Let's see. Happy Saturday. I am going to switch over some things so we can start our meeting. Today is our last meeting of our federal programs meeting of the school year. We have these every year. We have about three of them online and as well as in person. So, thank you for a few of you who are here this morning. That being said, hopefully, somebody can hear me out there. Let's see. I'm just going to type hello and good morning. You can hear. We had some struggles the other day on, I think it was Tuesday, but Thursday went well. And so hopefully today should be really smooth. And so I'm going to go ahead and start the slideshow. Somebody would tell me, hey, I can't hear you. There's usually somebody out there that mentions something to me. With that being said, I am going to start with this presentation. Again, thank you guys for being here today. I know you guys have some loyal followers out there. I'm very surprised of how Instagram is like probably the most popular social media that people use here in Fort Stockton. So that's kind of cool to know that. And again, this is our third meeting of our federal programs meeting today, Saturday, May the 11th. Thank you for being here. This is the Padlet information that has all the presentation links, including the sign-in sheets. So that way, if you want to sign in, you are more than welcome to sign in. So I had a message that says the doors are open at Technology Center, and that's this is the sign-in sheet that is on that Padlet as well. So you are more than welcome to sign in on that. And what the Padlet looks like, I'll show you. It looks like this. You'll have all the information there. There's the sign-in sheet right there. And then there's another CLNA sign-in sheet that we'll need. CLNA is just basically just a needs assessment that we have that for our technology, for our current technology department. These are the social media links here for all the areas that we are presenting this presentation. And then these are all the links here that you see in the presentation slide. So that is the Padlet link that we have there. Those are the links that we discussed a little bit. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for the first time this year, or ever probably going live. So it's kind of cool. Again, this is our third meeting, and the purpose of the meeting is just to discuss federal programs, including current technology, including ESSER, which is going away after this year, and that was just the federal funds that we got to help deal with the loss of learning during COVID-19 during the pandemic. And so all these meetings are the same. It just gives parents an opportunity to sit in and listen. The requirement is, first of all, let you know that this is a requirement that we have these meetings throughout the year. And so we like to have them at the end of the year when things are slowed down. Once we have all the information, if there's anything that changes, we let people know in these meetings. And so it's just explain what Title I programs are, what federal programs are in the schools, and explain the rights of stakeholders involved. And so the rights are basically just knowing what's going on. So let's start off with the number one thing is to improve student academics, and we have parent-student compact within our Title I programs that basically says parents have the right to be involved in programs in schools. The other aspect of that is that there's decisions relating to education of their children. People do have the right to know what is going on with their students. So at the end of the presentation, I do share links with the people on our meetings and that you can go back and see. Just shares information with how to contact each campus. So within the federal programs that we have what is called district improvement plans and campus improvement plans. And those are very simple. They're just basically a blueprint to how we can improve on academics in our schools. And we all know that the number one way to improve academics is having the best teachers that we can possibly get here, brought here to Fort Stockton for our children. So we do understand that it's a huge aspect of it. And so we have to deal with STAR and EOC. It is what it is. That's the game we play. We don't have a choice. And then the other thing we have to address is, are we giving students extra help? Are they getting the help that they need? Are we doing it efficiently as possible? And are we engaging our parents and family as well? And then we do that too within links within our district improvement plan and our campus improvement plan. I'm going to type something on Instagram, because somebody asked me, can you hear on Instagram? So can you all hear? I'm not too sure. Let's see. Somebody asked me, can they hear on Instagram? So I'm asking a question. So hopefully somebody can post that out there. I'm not too sure, but we'll see, right? And within that policy and compact, the whole idea is we have the campus handbooks on our website, and it describes the role of parents within each campus. And there is a requirement that parent and teacher conferences at the elementary levels are being done. And so we do that as well. Every year we kind of do it at the end of the first grading period of each school year. We meet with the parents at each elementary campus. It is only a requirement for elementary campuses, although that doesn't say that middle school and high school parents can call their schools and visit with their teachers. That's why we have conference periods, so that it gives a specific time of the day for teachers to be able to contact parents and have meetings with parents. And if that doesn't work out, we still can be before school or after school. A lot of times it can be by phone. And then sometimes that works out, because we know that a lot of parents out there are extremely busy doing their very best to raise their children. And we are just a partner in their raising of their children as well. So again, and that goes into, we convene flexible meetings, we have activities, we have curriculum, provide parents with any information regarding the curriculum and assessment. And curriculum is what we teach, instruction is how we teach it, and then the assessment aspect of it is how we test those things that we taught students to learn. And so the whole idea is we have to help kids learn. There was an old adage like, well, I taught the students. Well, that's great, but we need to make sure the students are learning the information. So that is a huge aspect of it. And then we provide any additional parents meetings for parents as needed. The number one way is to be in contact with your school. It is okay. We are there to answer your help, answer any questions that you guys may have. Yay, Rosemary. Shout out to Rosemary. Here. Thank you, Rosemary. She's like one of my dear fans out there all the time. She's always out there and letting us know that she's. Thank you, Rosemary. I appreciate it. All right. So again, the student parent compact is just a written agreement, and just like anything else, everything is fluid. But for the most part, the agreement is we want students to learn. We want to improve on their how they're learning and support their learning. We want to create frequent communications with school and home, so that way parents can help make decisions with their students in their learning. I will tell you, it's okay. Sometimes parents, they'll call and say, I really don't know much, so we're here to help you if you have any questions. I will tell you that here recently, the curriculum at the lower levels has changed drastically, and it has to do with how things are being assessed at the state level with the STAR and EOC. I will tell you, down the road, about 2 or 3 years, they're probably going to end up changing the STAR test again. So it is what it is. It's the game we play. Overall, though, there's something that students need to understand, and parents. Schools, sometimes, I get it. We understand that they may never use a Pythagorean theorem, or they may never have to use a fluid web in biology. But the thing about schools is they can problem solve. They can work with each other, collaborate, work with people, and can they problem solve? And so a lot of times is, can you problem solve? Can you go through problems? Can you have the perseverance to go through things and feel uncomfortable to grow? All right. So that's what schools are really all about. Yes, we teach them math and we teach them reading and social studies and science, but more importantly, can you problem solve and persevere, working collaboratively with other people, so that way you can learn and create something, or you can be successful in something. Okay. So again, the curriculum is based off the STAR. It's actually based off Texas Essential Knowledge of Skills, and we test in the STAR and EOC exams throughout the year. All right. And I'm going to hide that. Thank you again, Mrs. Sanchez, for helping me out there. Rosemary, always one of my favorites, who lets me know that you can hear. And then the other aspect of reservation funds is that there's a 1% set aside, where we just have to set aside money for parent and family engagement. And so what we do with that is we have Mrs. Casas, who is a amazing, wonderful retired teacher, principal, counselor, and she goes out and she helps parents, families with all kinds of aspects of things. And so a lot of times we revert some things to her because she has a great resource of community members who can help out and resources of helping out kids. In fact, this morning, right now, she is having a migrant meeting with Region 18 at the Bud Center right now for migrant parents, not only in Fort Stockton, but our surrounding areas as well. So shout out to Mrs. Casas, who is doing that. We appreciate all the things you do. Schools are required to allow parents to know the qualifications of their teachers. It can be done several different ways. And you can actually go online and type up a teacher's name. You have to have their full legal name to do that, and see what their qualifications are. Now, there may be some teachers who are not on there. For example, we have some current technology teachers, whether it's a retired police officer, whether it is a nurse, it could be an attorney, but we have certain career technology teachers who teach skills to students, such as our law classes, our medical classes, and some of our woodshop or metals classes as well. They just have to prove that they had these skills throughout their lifetime of teachings of working in those fields, so they can come in and teach it with our kids. So those teachers do have what's called reservations to go ahead and teach in the schools here in Fort Stockton and other places. It's very common to do that. And so that is an aspect of being a non-certified teacher, but being able to provide the instruction needed in our schools. There's other aspects that we do have some certain teachers who went the non-traditional route, where they got a degree and then they're teaching something like social studies, and so they're working towards their certification as well. So that is in there. So there's kind of 3 different ways of being a teacher at Fort Stockton, just like many other schools. Now, I will tell you this though: private schools, charter schools, charter schools do not have to do this. They can hire whoever they want to teach whatever they want, whenever they want, and they do not have to follow the same rules we do. So just keep in mind, sometimes people are like, I can't believe public schools. Well, guess what? Private schools are totally different. They don't have to follow any of these rules. That's just a game that we play. We're in public education, and so that's what we do. Again, teacher certification, we do mail some letters home at the beginning of the year. After about 6 weeks, we have to send those information out that says, hey, you have a teacher, your child has a teacher who does not have a certification in social studies, science, math, what have you. All of them working towards those certifications. That will not happen anywhere else except in public schools. It doesn't happen in charter schools. It doesn't happen in any private schools. It doesn't only happen in public schools that are held to that standard where no other type of school is. There's evaluations as well. Evaluations, we have to see if there's any barriers that parents are facing so that they can't not interact with our schools, right? So that is in there. The other thing is that we collect information, whether it's through meetings, questionnaires, surveys, committees, social media, and then we report those findings to the district improvement plan or the campus improvement plan, and we look at how we can make things better. So we appreciate all the feedback you guys give us, and it's huge. And this is just a description of the federal programs that we have here in Fort Stockton, and many other places have them as well, so you can read through them. There's quite a bit of them. The one that we probably touch on the most is Title I, Part A, which is addressing educational disadvantaged students or economically disadvantaged students. And it goes all the way down to state comp ed, which is a huge thing as well, which is actually from the state of Texas, and where we address at risk, and then we have special education in preschool and what have you. So then Title I Part A, basically we are addressing the needs of economically disadvantaged students. It addresses the entire educational program, how we can help those low achievement students do well, and do we have effective methods into teaching our students who are struggling. So that is what Title I Part A addresses. Title I Part B, migrant services. Again, this morning we have the wonderful Mrs. Stella Casas working with Region 18 as a partner, providing resources to our migrant students here in Fort Stockton and Buena Vista, as well as in Odessa area as well. They have a meeting here at the Butts uh, campus located south side of town, right here by central office. And thank you to Mr. Sanchez for allowing us to use this campus as well. So we, again, and the whole idea is, can we help those students overcome any challenges they may have, and that they're successful in those schools, just like any other student, regardless if they're migrant or not. Then we have Title II Part A, which is basically supporting teachers and how we can increase student achievement and increase the quality and effectiveness of those teachers, which is support them in being better. We all want to be better. I encourage at home that you strive with your children and you and myself to be 1% better every day. Whatever it is, whether we try to eat better, get up earlier, go for a walk, do gardening, whatever it is, read a book, try to be 1% better. Same thing in the teaching world. We try to be 1% better every day, and so a little bit of gains every day will help us improve, be better in our craft and in life as well. We also have Title III Part A, which is helping out with our English language learners, students who English is not their primary language, it's not their first language, and so we help them so that way they can perform well on the STAR test and in academics as well. Yes, the STAR test is a huge part of that, but we want to go academically as well. And so that is a part of Title III Part A program. And then there's Title IV Part A, which is just how we support students as well, create a well-rounded education and academic outcomes. We use technology, and there's an aspect of supplement, not supplant. Okay? So what does that mean, right? Well, supplement means if Fort Stockton ISD is going to spend $100,000 on a certain program, whether it's a bilingual program, GT program, whatever program it is, supplement says, hey, you have $100,000. Now you get this $100,000 from the government. You can't say, oh, I'm going to take that money away and just leave that $100,000 from the government. So supplement means you just add to it. Supplant says you replace it completely. Okay, we do not supplant anything. We supplement what we have here locally with our money, with the federal money, so that we can make sure we're giving more and enriching more for our students here in Fort Stockton. And then there's a Rural Education Initiative, REAP. That's real simple. It just says, hey, we know Fort Stockton ISD is out in rural America, Texas, right? And so we get a little bit of money to make sure that we may have some resources and things like that, because we may be limited to certain things here in Fort Stockton. So they do give us a little bit more money so that we can be a little bit more effective, just because we are in a rural school district. Okay. Then we have state compensatory education. I will tell you, state compensatory education basically is one thing, and it says we have to make sure students who are considered at risk do not fall through the cracks, and eventually we want them to graduate, right? That's our plan, is that we want these students to graduate. So state compensatory ed, we get money from the state of Texas that says, hey, what can we do to help these kids graduate? So we do a lot of things here in Fort Stockton, just like many other schools out there do, right? And so there are a few ways to be considered at risk. Number one is if you're failing at grade level, if you do not do well, from grade 7 to 12, if you're failing at 2 classes throughout the year, if you didn't make 110% on the STAR test. Real simple, what that means is, let's just say, this isn't true, right? But let's just, as far as the number, right? But let's just give you an example. So if the STAR test says you got to make a 70 to pass, what the state of Texas says you'd be at risk if you just pass with a 70. They'd say you'd be at risk if you pass with a 71. They want you to pass with a 78. Okay, so that's what at risk means, is that 110% should be the passing rate of where you would be considered not at risk, right? So, and again, that number of 70 and 78 is not what STAR test is about, but it's just giving you an idea of what we're talking about when it comes how you become at risk at 110%. Because a lot of times it's like, well, I passed, and we've had some parents say, well, I don't understand why my kid's at risk. They passed the STAR test. You're right, but according to the state of Texas, if you do not make it like what's considered a 78% passing rate, you would not be considered. You would be considered at risk or not at risk. If a student did not do well on a reading or an assessment during pre-K 1, 2, and 3, because some of those grade levels do not have STAR tests, and so that's why that's in place. Is if the student is pregnant or they're a parent, they are considered at risk as well. If they are in an alternative education program, if they've been expelled, If they've had any dealings with being on parole, probation, what have you, we're not here to judge anybody. We're here just to make sure that they get the learning that they need, and so they are considered at risk as well. If they've dropped out of school before, if they have limited English proficiency, where their English is not their first language, that is an issue as well. They're considered at risk. If students have been part of the CPS system at any time, they are considered at risk as well. If they are homeless students, they're considered at risk. If they've been in a residential placement facility through the court, through some type of facility, then they're considered at risk. If they've been incarcerated or their parents have been incarcerated, we're not here to go around and ask people or their parents if they've been in jail. That's not our place. If we do find out for whatever reason, we don't put it out there. We just address it. We go on. We just mark it in our system that says checkbox here. Not a big deal. We're not here to judge anybody. And then lastly, if this one's a new one, if a student has ever been enrolled in a dropout recovery program or school is what it is, not a program per se. Um, and then now I'm touching on to the current technology aspect of it. We have Mr. Roy Alvarado, who is our current technology assistant superintendent, who does a great job overseeing all those activities, such as how well we're doing with compliance. Are we doing the right thing for kids? And are we monitoring all the things that we need to monitor for current technology? And so these are a few things that I will go over. First here is that there is a report that shows different aspects of how we're compared to the state of Texas. Now, there's a lot of these indicators that we don't get to choose what they grade us on as per se, and only happens in public schools. It doesn't happen in private schools. It doesn't happen in charter schools, and so we do the very best we can with the rules that they have in place for us. Number one, the graduation rate. If you notice, the graduation rate is about the same here in Fort Stockton compared to the state. As extended year graduation rate, which basically says if you have kids who don't graduate in 4 years, do they graduate in 5 years or 6 years? Okay. And we're talking about indicators of CTE students. This just involves CTE students. All right. And then we have proficiency in English language arts and reading. Notice that our students do a very good job compared to the state when it comes to English language and reading proficiency. We don't do that great in math, but it's something that we can grow on and be 1% better. And every year we try to be better in that situation. When it comes to science, we are leading this state when it comes to career technology students doing well in science. So we are doing better than that compared to the state, as well as post-program placement. In other words, our students who are in CNA classes and things like that. And we just had our CNA graduation at Mellon College last night, I believe. So shout out to all those CNA students and any other students. We did have some business students as well get a certificate. So shout out to them for doing that. We're very proud of them. And that is a great partnership with Mellon College where we're able to do those things here in Fort Stockton ICM. But more importantly, shout out to the individuals out there who are paying into Mellon College to the taxing district that they have. And so with that money, we're able to help out students and our community as a whole, grow people in Fort Stockton with a career that they can support here in Fort Stockton. So we appreciate that. And then non-traditional program concentration, that's kind of crazy. But what the state of Texas grades us on is that we basically have girls who take classes like auto tech, and then do we have boys who take classes like cosmetology? Why that's important to the state of Texas, it is what it is. We are just going to teach kids, regardless whether they're male or females, regardless of what they feel they have interest in, and to do well in the future. So it doesn't matter to us, but it is something we get graded on. Only public schools, all right? The other thing is attain and recognize program quality. That just has to do, again, goes back to can we improve some things? So we are looking at that as well. And then completers. Do we have students who complete a whole series of classes? Real simple to explain that is, do kids finish the program of like woodshop 1, 2, 3, and 4? Can they go through that whole system while they're in schools? Let's see here. I had a question. Oh, never mind. It wasn't a question. So then this is just another indicator of the state CTE learners and district CTE learners. The same aspect of when we talk about this chart is that it's the same chart. Okay, it's just viewed a little bit differently. Now this here is district non-CTE students and district CTE learners. For the most part, our district CTE students do better than students who are not in CTE classes. So that is a good thing. So those same indicators of for your graduate, how they do in math, how they do in science, how they do as far as complete, they do actually better when they're in CTE classes. So what that tells us is that students who are busy, students who are using their hands, students who are getting dirty and using their hands, doing that, they do better than non-CTE students. Okay. These are just all the pathways, career clusters that we teach here at Fort Stockton ISD according to labor market alignment and according to what the state says we do based upon the classes that students take. We have quite a bit of students who are in architecture and construction, health science, human services. You can read the list all the way down to science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, this real quick is just a short description of what the indicator codes are. And so non-CTE is just a student who is not in any CTE class. A CTE participant is a student who completes one CTE course. Then we have a CTE Explorer. They may have two or more courses, like you may have a kid that says, oh, I want to do welding, but yet I want to take another class over here in a business class. And so they're kind of linked, but they're not really in the same concentration of classes. And then we do have a concentrator. We have one who may take two or more high school CTE classes for two or more credits. That can be like woodshop 1 and 2. All right. And then we have CTE completer, those who've taken three classes and completed that throughout the coursework in high school. And that can be like, for example, Metals 1, Metals 2, Metals 3. It could be the CNA courses that Maryland College has, which is the courses for certified nurses aid. Somebody did ask me a question here. What is CNA? That's our certified nurses aid classes that we have where students can go work in the medical field with that certificate that we receive here in Fort Stockton ISD, partner with Maryland College. Now we have a program study overview. It basically says this, is that we have to incorporate challenging state academic standards. We have to align with industries of the state and regional area. And I will tell you out here, oil field and energy is huge. It is the number one aspect of what people are needing. And so I know we have an energy certificate with Maryland College right now. So that is an aspect that is huge out here in West Texas. These are just the program and study clusters. They have changed throughout the year. They added the energy cluster down there, which was totally different. They added a few years ago. And so that is that. This is the website that has the approved statewide CTE program and study. If you get bored one eye, you just want to read things, that again is in the Padlet that I shared with you at the very beginning. There's information on the Workforce Commission. I will tell you that we have a Workforce Commission that can help out quite a few people out in the world. So give them a call, look up their information. There is a Workforce Commission office here in Fort Stockton as well. I encourage you, if you feel you want to grow in your career or in any aspect of your life, go to this website, look and see what's going on that can help you or help maybe somebody else, maybe your child, maybe your friend, a neighbor, an uncle, brother, anything in that respect. This is our certified comprehensive local needs, Perkins 5 comprehensive local needs assessment. You are more than welcome to fill it out. You can take a screenshot of that while you're looking at your screen. That link is in the chat as well. So I'm going to put it right there. It is in the chat. So you are more than welcome to click on it and go to fill out that information from the Padlet. That's pretty cool. ESSER. ESSER is Elementary Secondary School Emergency Relief. That basically is the money that the schools receive for COVID-19. And it wasn't only schools, it was hospitals, it was governmental entities, it was private businesses that receive money as well. And so schools, unlike probably private entities, have to be very public when it comes to how we spent that money. So basically, you just need to know we address learning and recovery, and we address the academic, social, and emotional needs of students in Fort Stockton. So ESSER, there was ESSER 1, 2, and 3. Right now, the last one that we are in and is ESSER 3, which should be ending this September. And after this, we won't ever talk about it again. So that'll be great. All right. So ESSER 1, there's the planning of the amounts of money that we received, about $500,000 back in 2020. 2020, then another 2.2 million, and then the last amount of money was 4.9 million dollars that we received uh, for um, addressing learning recovery that we had. And so basically what we did in Fort Stockton, just like any of these federal monies, we tried to how we could address high quality teaching and learning throughout the Fort Stockton ISD schools. And so I will tell you, a lot of the federal money, we look at what can we do to increase learning of our students and how we can target that support as well, right? So we also address the mental health of students and staff, reduce the risk of viruses and transmission of any exposure to environmental health hazards, and then again to how we can retain high need, high impact individuals. We address the learning recovery by making sure we have high quality assessments, and then any best practices as well in what we do in learning. Again, the overall goal of all of these federal funds, including the extra funds, is improve on academics of all our students. That is huge. And so we did add some campus curriculum directors to help our teachers get better in their craft. And so the whole idea was to improve on student learning as well. We added high academic needs stipends. In other words, if you're teaching a STAR tested subject, the state of Texas look at your scores more than anybody else, and they look at you how you're teaching as a teacher. And so, with that being said, it's very stressful. And so, there's a lot of planning. There's a lot of things that go on to teach a STAR tested subject. And so, because of that, we do pay a little bit higher stipends for those teachers who are teaching STAR tested subjects. It's crazy because private schools do not go through that. Charter schools, some do, some don't. But those are the teachers who the state of Texas looks at every individual student's scores. They look at where they were at. They look at if they grew. They look if they passed. And so it's extremely stressful. Then we also did retention stipends for our teachers and that COVID-19 reimbursement. We just said, hey, we appreciate you guys being with us. We did add some retention stipends. Then we replaced the HVAC units at Apache School. The entire system was replaced. We also did some social and emotional needs with Rachel's Challenge, and just to be kind and just address bullying, minimize school violence, and just have a sense of hope and resilience as well. ESSER 3, there's two aspects that we have to have. One is a plan, safe return in-person instruction continuity of service plan, and then the use of funds. The use of funds are here. That is on our website as well. There's COVID-19 pay that we paid for staff. We had indirect costs we bought some Chromebooks, and then we also paid some services to help throughout that COVID-19 learning loss. We also did some retention pay. We did some maintenance custodial salaries as well because we were paying individuals a lot of money to keep cleaning, keep wiping things down, whether it was in our buses or schools. And so that was a huge aspect during that time of 2021 and 2022. All trying to maintain a safe facility for our students and our staff. This is ESSER 3. If you notice there, we had retention pay, campus curriculum directors, zone pay, academic stipends. And so what zone pay is basically it's a way that we reward our best teachers. We pay our best teachers higher wages because they are doing the most, making sure that students are learning. And then we pay academic stipends. We have summer school tutorials. We have Texas Tech tuition in fall and Rachel's Challenge, air filters. We put air purifiers in all our buildings, all our classrooms, in our cafeterias. And so that was a huge purchase for our schools as well. We also did replace the HVAC system at Apache School. And then right now we are zeroed out, and this will be the last time we ever talk about ESSER 3, thank goodness, or 2 or 1. This is the last year of our federal funds. The information is on our website. Right there. If you go to the website, fsic.net, it is located right there. This is the information of our schools. If you ever want to contact one of our schools, the best time to go, if you ever have an issue, is you contact a school and you say, hey, I just have an issue, I have a question. Please let us know. The campus principals are the number one place to go. That is the first place to go. You go to your campus principals, you ask them questions. So here's the information of all our principals. They work hard. They do their very best to ensure kids are doing, that are excelling. So if you have any questions or any concerns, their campus principal is the number one person to go to every single time. That being said, I am done. I don't see any questions. Again, I want to thank you very much. I know that it's the end of the year, and by all means, I get it. Fort Stockton ISD is not perfect, but we do strive to be better every single day. I know that we go throughout the year, different things happen, but I will tell you, for the most part, we are out here for your kids. So thank you for sharing your children with us as we do our very best to help them learn. I want to thank all our staff members who come to the end of a school year doing a great job. It's a tough, tough year. Thank you, Mrs. Sanchez, for letting us know. Rosemary, she's always a great supporter. I appreciate you, Rosemary. So, again, thank you very much. I know it's tough raising parents. It's tough being a teacher. It's tough being a principal. It's tough being times are tough. But I want to say thank you for being 1% better every day. I appreciate you choosing to be better, choosing to be kind, choosing to be helpful. And sometimes we know it can be tough. Call us and let us know. Call the school, say, hey, I'm struggling with this with my kids. Let us know. We're here to help you. That's what we're here for. Again, those are the numbers. Please let us know. It is about 10:36 a.m. Thank you very much. You guys take care. Be safe. Other than that, I am going to log off. I'm going to try to log off of Instagram first because that one, for some reason, is a little funny. So you guys take care. Be safe. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.